Hey everyone, Denise here from Sewlimitless, and in today's video I'm going to do a pattern review of Simplicity 9373. This has been a pretty popular pattern. This is what I made here, so let's get started. So first of all, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, if you're returning, then welcome. This pattern, it's a cardigan. Like I said, it's 9373 Simplicity pattern. It is oversized. Let me start with that. This is the one I made here, and this is also basically one of my latest Minerva makes. So this fabric was gifted to me by Minerva. It is a loop back French terry knit fabric. I'll put it exactly what it is in the description down below, but it's a medium weight fabric. It's actually heavier and heftier than I thought it would be, but it's really perfect for something like this. The pattern itself, I made this in an afternoon. It's pretty easy to put together. I think the biggest issue is going to be figuring out what size. I cut out the pattern piece for the large, and then when I looked at the ease on the bust in particular, it was like 10 inches. It would have been 10 inches of ease. I ended up going with a medium, and it's still plenty roomy, but I think the fit in the shoulder is actually pretty good. So I'm glad I went down a size. But this is actually quite easy for me, at least, to put together. I made view B, which is the same one here on the model, and it came together quickly. Now, you do have some interfacing, of course. When you're sewing on a knit, you've got interfacing in the neck band here all the way through, all the way around, because you got to do those buttonholes. And that was an easy process. I did use buttonhole for knits, the knit buttonhole that is not just the regular, it's not as tightly stitched. So most machines, when you have those automatic buttonholes, you have an option. You have options for different styles or types of buttonholes. It gives it a little looser. I guess it makes it easier to, when it's not so tightly stitched together, I guess it makes it a little easier to get your buttons through the buttonhole. So that was something, that was the only thing that I did differently. I did not make any adjustments, any alterations to the pattern. Like I said, the big thing was just figuring out what size to make. And when you look at the finished garment measurement for example, the finished garment bust measurement is 50. That is pretty large. That gave me 10 inches of ease. I don't need 10 inches of ease. So I went with the medium, which the finished garment size for that was 46. So yeah, that was the biggest thing, is just figuring out which size that I wanted to go with. And I'm glad I went with the medium rather than the large. One thing I did do, and I did take some pictures when I had set this up, is putting in these pockets. It's very simple, it's just a regular pocket, but because it's knit and they have you stitch around the edge at the seam allowance. When I had done that and I had not, I just pressed the fabric and then did the stitching, it just looked a little wonky. So for the next pocket, and I don't know which one I did in which order, but for the next one, what I did is I actually put a little strip of interfacing around and then did the stitching, and I think it came out much nicer. It gave it a crisper look. So that's just something that you might want to try. As I said, with the other one where I did the stitching first, I actually did put interfacing over that stitching line on the wrong side, of course. I did do that just because it still gave it a crispness, because you have to top stitch the pockets down when you actually put them onto the garment. So it gave it a nice stabilization. It stabilized that so that it was easy to stitch all the way around there. But that was the only added thing that I did. I know I did a video on twin needle stitching. I did not do the twin needle on this one. They actually, in the instructions, say to use a zigzag, and I thought, let's give it a try. And it came out with a nice little finish on the sleeves and the hem. So that's what I did. So you still, obviously, you're going to get the stretch that you need, but it's just looks nice. So I went with that. Otherwise, sewing with this, it has a little bit of what, it's not really a nap, but it's not like a totally smooth fabric. So one thing I did, which I found was very helpful, I used a press cloth, a universal iron shoe, and I used those things when I was pressing on the fabric, because when I didn't do that, it just kind of came out a little bit shiny. Like if you've ever pressed something like velvet or velveteen, and you kind of get this little shininess on the fabric if you don't use a press cloth. So that was kind of the case with this material. So I did use a press cloth and the iron shoe when pressing this out, and that really helped to sort of give it a nice finish without making it shiny in those areas where I was pressing. So that was something that was very useful as well. But basically that's it. You know, of course there will be photographs. I do have, like I said, pictures of the pockets where I put in that interfacing, so you could see just exactly what I was talking about. But basically, that is it. This is a really nice pattern. Like I said, I know it's been pretty popular as well, easy and pretty quick to make. So that is it for this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you've not done so already. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.